We're going to 204 Highgate Lane, New Jersey. 204 Highgate Lane, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And you know what this kind of is about.
Well, you have teased it a little bit, and we like mentioned it on headlines.
Yeah.
But it was just such a salacious headline, thanks Daily Mail, I can only imagine, that we just had to post it in case request. Anyway,
this is where we're going to tonight. It's a 2-story colonial house. I will say this house was known as...
I apologize for my leg view, by the way, but y'all are just going to have to get used to it. I'm wearing spandex shorts, so just get used to it.
This house, I believe the term was a scarecrow house, is what the real estate agent used when they sold it to the couple who had no idea that this happened in the house.
Oh, they didn't ask. I guess it's like a don't ask, don't tell policy with this sort of thing.
It is. So that's what like when I was doing the story, I did some of the real estate research, and that's what they said.
Oh, interesting.
It's kind of effed up because the real estate agent knows, and on this house specifically, they were even joking to another realtor that is, this is the scarecrow house, but they still never mentioned it. But they are not required to disclose that. I know. Yeah, they're not required, but at the same time, it's just be a decent human being.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? And so a house like this, it'd go under the radar because this happened where we're going to tonight, 1994. So if this sells, I think it last sold in 2018. I mean, who's going to remember this story? You know what I'm saying?
Well, maybe that far. Jacob says, I thought you had to disclose any deaths that happened in the last 5 years or something.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's... And
Angelin says, nope, the realtor didn't tell new buyers about the murder in my neighbor's house. Oh my goodness.
Oh, shit.
Well, I think we've talked about this in a previous episode. Someone did end their own life in our former house.
I don't know if she ended her own life.
I mean, she overdosed.
Yeah.
I mean, on sleeping pills. I mean, I think it was intentional.
Yeah, probably. I mean, so the realtor never told you that?
Didn't ask. No, but I didn't ask.
I wonder if she even knew.
Maybe. I mean, maybe that would be treated. It's not a murder, It's not like a crime. It's not like there was a bloody crime scene.
That's hot.
I don't know. Jacob could have been talking about my legs, but I have a feeling he was talking about the death in the house. Someone used a sawed off on themselves in my house before we got it for a steal of a price.
Jesus Christ.
Well,
that's
wow.
Nuts, man.
So you didn't ask and they didn't tell. So you had no idea, but you just got a good price. Yeah, I kind of got a good price on a old house. So, but then again, I just thought it was it needed a lot of cosmetic work.
I mean, but at the time it wasn't really a great deal. I mean,
it was, it kind of was, but it wasn't every ounce of that house needed to be redone because it was, carpet in the bathroom and stuff.
Blood all over the ceiling.
There was not blood on the ceiling. Right. We wondered why it was dirt cheap and newly remodeled.
Jesus Christ.
At least we did all the remodeling, so it felt like our own,
November 1st, 1994, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Half of you guys weren't even born yet.
That's the perk of this house. We're the first people in. We don't have to worry about it.
At this exact time, November 1st, 1994, 9:20 p.m., at this exact second, Bill Clinton was getting it under the desk.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time.
Bill.
I bet he was,
These
dude.
allegations are false.
That's gross. Oh, Bill.
All right, tonight we're going to 204 Highgate Lane, New Jersey, Cherry Hill. This is 9:20 p.m. on November 1st, 1994. Fred Neulander, he is a rabbi, and he shows up back at his home, the one I just showed you on Google Earth, and it is 9:20 p.m. when he walks in the door. He's had a pretty busy day. As you're going to see, his congregation has grown within the last few years to 3 families to over 900.
Wow.
And he now owns the largest synagogue wait, what do you call a Jewish church? Synagogue?
Yeah, or temple.
He now owns the largest synagogue in New Jersey.
Wow.
At this point. And which is something to say. Now, in this part of New Jersey, as you're going to see, there's a lot, the Jewish population.
There's a lot of Jewish population.
Large Jewish population there. Still, I guess.
My Jewish side of the family, they're all from Jers. They're dirty Jers originally. That's where a lot of my ancestors are buried. They're buried in Saddlebrook, New Jersey.
A lot of mine are buried on the farm. So a Fred Neulander comes home. He's been working all day. He actually had a meeting earlier. He was at the church and the choir needed some help with the New Year routine with, because the holidays are coming up and they had to work out the whole program for their music and stuff like that. So he had spent extra time at the office tonight because he is home a little late. This is after 9:00. Anyway, he pulls into his driveway, nothing unusual, pulls in, he walks up to the door. It is a little odd that the door is unlocked, but whatever. My wife has probably just forgot to lock the door. The door wasn't broken in, it was just unlocked. He walks in his home, there's an entrance way. The living room will be on the left side, and then the kitchen pushed back a little bit. He walks in, and the first thing he does, like always, every day, he says, "Carol, I'm home." Carol's his wife, Carol Neulander, 52 years old. Carol, usually by this time, she will call back out. Now, it is a little later, so she may be taking a shower. She may be in bed. Her routine is pretty simple. Well, it's not simple. She is a very busy woman. Not only is she the first lady of the Makur Shalom, she is also a successful business owner. And every night she sits at the table and she counts out anywhere between $5,000 and $25,000.
Wow.
In cash, as we're going to talk about. So, because in this neighborhood now, in 1994, this is an upper middle class neighborhood. No crime, nothing like that. But you do have someone counting a large amount of cash, and nothing separates them from the outside world other than a small little door lock.
Right.
And that door lock is unlocked. So he walks in, doesn't hear her respond back, and then right there on the floor, he sees this horrible, unspeakable scene. Now, you really have to imagine inside the house. This is a rabbi who is very devoted to his religion, and so is his wife. And they keep things not only clean, but everything is white, pearl white. It is pristine, all the furniture, the couch, the walls, white. But now...
They must not have pets.
No pets. But now you contrast all that white with what Fred sees in this unspeakable scene, which is this crimson blood everywhere. As we're going to talk about, when I say everywhere, I know everyone already says that, but when you get hit in the head with a blunt object over a dozen times, that is when the blood flies. If you stab someone, blood's going to just run out, maybe spurt a little bit, and then pull up.
But it's not going to spatter.
Exactly. When you hit somebody over the head with something like a tire iron repeatedly, that blood is going to shoot on every wall in the home, and that's what it did. Now, every wall was white, and now every wall is dotted with this
spray,
this now congealed blood, right? It was sprayed out. Carol is deceased. Obviously, she is laying on the white carpet and her head is under the glass coffee table, which was not broke. She was just kind of laying under it. Now, we're going to talk about the whole scene here in a second in detail, but that's what we're at now. Carol, and let me show you a picture of Carol right quick. This is Carol. Can you describe Carol for us?
Let's see. So she has short brown hair. You said she's in her early 50s?
52, yeah.
I don't know if that's how old she is in this picture. She looks a little younger than that.
Yeah, I think she's younger than that.
Very early 90s do.
Yeah, I know.
Very, like Princess Di, Princess Di do.
Yeah.
Hot. Oh, Jacob, crack me up.
Carol, she looks like she's a very nice lady, as you can tell. Her favorite dress that she wore all the time was this flower pattern floral blue type of roses that she wore. That was the fabric of her pants, and she had a blue matching vest on at the time. She wore that because she thought it brought, just a little bit of joy to people that saw her wear it. It's flowers, it's nice, it's floral. She was still wearing that. She's under the coffee table and she is wearing that. It hasn't been hiked up. It doesn't look like she was assaulted or anything. So it is a stark contrast between the white carpeting, the furniture, and the terrible scene that I just described. Her face had been nearly the same color as the carpet because the blood had all left her face. Oof. She had been bludgeoned, quote, the radiating spray patterns of blood clear out across the room, end quote. Now, Fred, and they've been married 29 years. Oh. 29 years of marriage. Fred is in shock. He doesn't know what he's looking at. Did his wife fall? Did she commit suicide? Like, what is going on? Is she okay? Is she breathing? Yeah. He grabs the portable phone because that was like the thing nowadays. Portable phones just came out.
Yep. No cord.
He grabs the portable phone and he is walking backwards and he can't even speak. He can't catch his breath. He is just in shock. He's walking backwards. He's got the phone. He's trying to think of those 3 numbers you press when there's an emergency, and he finally presses them. 911, and his back hits the wall. His back hits the front door because he's backing out. He's just in complete shock. We're going to return to the scene later, and I'm going to tell you everything about it. But let's talk about Carol Neulander, 52 years old. And this is her one more time. She's an extremely busy person. Not only is she the first lady of the rabbi in charge of more than 900 families, and that's the Makor Shalom congregation that started from the homes of the parishioners and a little bit of trust money to hotels, events. Finally, now the biggest campus in New Jersey for Judaism, for this practice. Mm-hmm. They are the most successful, and this is only within a few years. Wow. So you can tell that who we're talking about tonight, Fred, the husband, he has some a way with words. His passion radiates enough for people to follow him from home to home until he finally gets his own congregation, and it's massive. Carol, she is a successful businesswoman. In this part of New Jersey, there's a high Jewish population, especially in the 90s. And there wasn't one thing that she saw a market for something that wasn't there. There's a lot of Jewish people. In this part of New Jersey, there's an extremely high Jewish population. And in the early 90s, there was a market, a void in the market, I guess, of kosher desserts. She tried everywhere because now she's the first lady. So she is in charge of catering some of the events. Okay, well, I need a cake, but I need it kosher. Why is no one doing this? Why is no one producing this on a scale like this?
Definitely saw an opportunity.
Yeah.
In a deli. There's not a kosher deli, girl.
Well, no, not deli probably.
They had enough of those.
Okay, so this is 1994, like I said. In the early 90s, she started classic cake from her oven in her home to 3 extremely successful locations around Cherry Hill. And each night she would count anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000 in cash.
Holy shit!
On her kitchen table. Classic Cake is actually still open.
Damn, that was quite a success.
This is it right here. Unfortunately, they had a run-in. So it says here. Oh, maybe they're back up. When I did this earlier, it said that. Coming soon. They had a little problem. I saw they had a fire in 2020. Now, obviously, Carol's long gone. She's been dead since 1994. But it is truly a testament that the classic cake is still, such a hit, even in 2020.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Wow. I mean, that's a testament to...
That's a good business.
Exactly.
Must have been good.
It's extremely good. So, and classic cake, obviously kosher desserts, but she was counting up to $25,000 in cash every night on her table. So you talk about an extremely, extremely busy woman.
That's impressive.
Now, also, that's a huge motive.
To be having that in your home every day. I mean, I'm sure she's going to the bank every day, but...
Yeah. Everyone in the church congregation knew, and I'm just going to say church. I know it's not, but,
Temple.
Everyone in the temple knew that she did this, and there were over 900 families. Everyone who visited one of the classic cake retail locations knew she did this. They knew she lived in an upscale neighborhood in Cherry Hill, which Cherry Hill was the place to be at the time. And maybe some people knew that she didn't really lock her doors like she should have. And she's sitting there counting all that money.
Yeah.
In this community, crime is not a thing, especially murder. Never has been a murder in this community. But you bring in that much money home, it's going to
draw some attention.
It does draw some attention, some bad attention.
Yeah.
This is the 911 call that Fred made when he saw his deceased wife on the floor.
Okay, are there any weapons around her, sir? The dispatcher crisply demanded. I don't know, Fred moaned. Does she appear to be breathing? She continued. No, there's blood all over, Fred repeated. Okay, we'll send somebody down, she replied firmly. No, wait a minute. I've got another problem. My son is an EMT. Fred tried to explain, his voice a drawn-out wail.
This is bad. Okay, their son, Matthew, is an EMT in the same town, and he's working tonight. Their son is about to get a call, and he may not even know where they're going because he's a paramedic in the back. He doesn't need to know the address. He just goes and saves whoever needs saving, wherever they end up. But at this point, the son is going to be dispatched to his own home and have to pronounce his own mother dead.
Oof.
That is a horrible outcome.
Yeah, that ain't good.
So that's why the husband is like, my son is an EMT. Please do not let him come. Unfortunately,
I get that.
Unfortunately, they couldn't get that call out, and Matthew did show up. However, luckily, he didn't have to pronounce his mother dead because the police wouldn't let him in.
Wow.
Oh,
that's awful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was, Cherry Hill, he was in the EMS there, so he was on duty that night. Who else was going to be there?
Yeah.
It's also shocking for Matthew because he does arrive at the home and he just breaks down. He cannot get into... He needs to know what's going on. Is my mom okay? What's going on? The police aren't letting him in. He is just freaking out. He looks at his father, who seems not as distressed, but he just has no idea what's going on. Literally hours before this, him and his father, Fred, had gotten a pizza together. They went out for pizza, and then Matthew went on his shift, and so all of a sudden, my mom's dead, and they're saying that mom died around 6:20. 3 hours ago? Well, that was when we were eating pizza. And if I would have just went home like my normal routine instead of going to eat pizza with you, then I would have been there and I could have stopped it. He's freaking out at this point. He needs to know what's going on, and no one's telling him what's going on.
From Broken Vows by Eric Francis, Carol's blood seemed to be everywhere throughout the room. A large pool of it was spreading out on the white carpet surrounding her head, and the whipping action of the pipe had flung even more of it outward in a series of arcs that had splattered clear across the room. The patterns of blood droplets stretched 10 to 15 feet in places across the floor, the glass coffee table, the window ledge, the walls, even the ceiling.
Carol had large lacerations on her scalp. She was struck at least a dozen times with a tire iron or something similar. The weapon wasn't there, so, we don't know what it was, but it was like a tire iron. 6 of the 7 strikes were parallel to each other, meaning that, do you want to take a guess why that would be? So they're all on top of her head, and 6 of 7, and they're kind of on the back of her head going up. So you bring it down on someone's head. 6 or 7 are parallel to each other, kind of just perfectly parallel.
Was she short? Is that where you're going with it?
No, so I don't know this stuff either. I'm just seeing if you
was she really short and the person who attacked her really tall, and that's why it was flat out on the head?
Well, so they would still be on the head, but they were perfectly kind of parallel. The reason being is because 6 or 7, she wasn't moving at this point, which means that, and they were from behind, so she was attacked from behind. She was walking away and go back to the door. Was the door broken in?
No.
It was unlocked. So at this point, it seems like whoever did this, she had let in.
Or if she has a history, though, of not locking her door.
Exactly, but it seems like she was at the dining room table most of the night, like always. And it seems like the attacker hit her from the back as she was walking away. To experienced detectives, they thought immediately that she had knew whoever she had let in and was so comfortable with whoever this is that she just kind of turned her back and went to do her own thing. And at this point, when she is unaware, because she's so friendly with this guy, he hits her right on the back of the head, right?
The careful examination of the body turned up small traces of a thick substance in Carol's hair that looked like it might be grease. This further heightened the coroner's suspicion that the weapon used was a tire iron.
Yeah, Jacob, that's what the book said too. Jacob said she wasn't moving after the first shot. She was hit pretty hard.
The first one,
and then they're parallel because he's not hitting a moving target. To an experienced detective at this point, it seems like whoever did this is just trying to make sure she is dead.
Yeah.
Now, I told you that I described her blouse and her vest still on, nothing hiked up, nothing like that. So
wasn't sexually motivated.
Yeah, exactly. Carol's hands were also smashed really bad. One finger was nearly severed.
Ooh.
And now this is all using the exact same murder weapon. One of her fingers was nearly severed off. So all of the blows happened on her head. Why do you think one of the fingers would be severed off and her hands completely smashed?
Got in the way.
Yeah, so it's defensive wounds. She's not fighting back, so she gets hit once, like Jacob said. She kind of falls to her knees. And then what do you do instinctively? You put your hands over your head to block whatever's coming. And that is why her finger was nearly severed right there.
It was hit hard.
Yeah, really hard. Yeah, because, I mean, a lot of those lacerations kind of went through the hand. And the wrist wasn't broken or anything. So her hands were facing, going away from her, blocking whatever it was as an instinct, right?
From author Eric Francis, despite the ferocity of the blows to her brain, the forensic examination revealed those were not what actually killed her. In a final indignity, Carol had choked to death on her own vomit before she could succumb to her head injuries.
So that's her real cause of death. She was choking to death on her own vomit. Now, I said her clothes hadn't been hiked up, and it seemed like the killer really didn't want to kill her, almost. You know, he attacked her from the back. He just wanted to make sure she was dead. He didn't rape her or anything. It was just kind of like, I gotta do this type of thing. He didn't want to get too close. He just tried to make sure it was done. Now let's talk a little bit more. Let's try to build a motive here. She's been married for 29 years and they make a lot of money doing what both of them do. So she had a pretty large ring on that ring finger. 29 years of marriage. It's a large diamond. And it was still there, you know? Still there.
Yeah, but what about all the cash on the table?
Nothing was taken.
Okay, well, that's weird.
Well, so the cash is put up by now. It's already, or whatever. There was no cash on the table, you know? Or maybe not. I don't know. That didn't ever factor out. On her wrist, her left wrist, to be precise, was several gold bracelets, pure gold, and a very expensive designer watch. So, I mean, all right, let's say this is just some drug addict who needs money for his next hit. He's going to see things like that diamond ring and those gold bracelets, and he's going to think, I can make some money for that, because anything for drugs. Well, nothing was taken like that.
Right, and only her wallet.
Only her pocketbook, which didn't, have much. I mean, it probably had a couple thousand in it, I'd imagine. But, I mean,
think it had that much in it?
I mean, I don't know. But if you're going to take that, you might as well take her wedding ring and her gold bracelets and that designer watch.
If it wasn't the counting cash on the table, then it had to have been like what was on her person.
All right, so let's roll out that. It's not a crackhead that needed a hit because he would have taken that stuff. Well, what about a regular robber? let's say one that didn't know that she had all this money and it was just an opportunist type of robber. Well, going back to the inside of the crime scene, as I said, everything was white except for the new splashed blood everywhere. But everything was also in order. There was no dresser drawers ripped open. There was nothing knocked off the tables. It's not like someone was searching for a stash of money anywhere or anything. It literally just looked like someone came in, killed her, and then took the pocketbook just because they thought they had to do that. That's kind of what detectives are thinking. It's kind of weird. It's not a robber. It's not a crackhead, especially in this part, you know. So what was the motive here? It seemed like there wasn't one type of thing, you know? So where are you at right now? Like, who would do this?
Well, Jacob is saying if her husband was eating pizza with his son, he hired someone. I mean, it definitely lends that something is, you know, fishy.
All right, well,
something's rotten in the state of Denmark.
Well, it can't be her husband because he has an alibi. Not only did he...
his son, how convenient.
Not only was he eating pizza with his son, he also went back to the church for that choir meeting. Everyone saw him there. Plus, he's one of the most respected people in all of Cherry Hill. And he's been married 29 years. Why would you want to destroy that? Your wife is making a ton of money.
Yeah.
Why throw that away?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. Agree, Jacob. I know if the book's called Broken Vows, I'm assuming he had something to do with it.
Fuck, yeah. Shit. Yeah, fucking fuck that up. So the experienced detectives knew that something was not right here. So at this crime scene right now, it's the middle of the night, and you have poor Matthew, the son, bawling his eyes out, trying to rush into the house. He's not getting let in. The husband, who is not really acting as distraught, but, you know, people have different ways of processing different things. He's just kind of standing there. He's not... So when the police come out and pronounce her dead to the coroner, he doesn't run up and say, you know, what's going on? Like, what happened? Like, he's just kind of sitting there, you know, while his son is being inconsolable. But who would do this? There is nothing to go on. The husband has an alibi. He was eating pizza. The son has an alibi. He was eating pizza, you know. This is an upscale neighborhood, no crime rate. It felt really targeted. What?
I'm sorry. The number of times that you have said that they're eating pizza when I'm trying so hard to eat healthy, it feels like you're doing it intentionally. I feel personally victimized by the number of times you have said the word pizza tonight.
Out with someone else more moist. Ew.
He was icing someone else's cake.
That's fucking gross.
Well, was he?
You know, I would take a selfie for you guys right now, but it's raining outside, so I don't want you to get wet more than once.
Did you just make that up? Wow, that was creative. But I don't know if you just heard that today.
Yeah, I can't claim that. I didn't make that up. I saw that on a meme. All right.
Hey, Wolfie.
Everyone in the neighborhood's out. It's who would do this? Carol is the sweetest woman in all of Cherry Hill. She would do anything for anyone. Who would do this? Already, the police and the detectives are looking at an unsolvable crime because there's no fingerprints. Once they process the whole crime scene, no fingerprints. There's not even so much as a shoe impression.
Okay.
The murder weapon's not there. There's no DNA anywhere. It felt like someone just went in there. What?
Nicole's gonna get a nice hot pizza. You guys are so mean.
Jesus.
I'm hungry, okay? Yes, John used pickup lines just like that. Just like that.
No, I just pretended I was rich. All right, so at this point, they're already worried that nothing's going to happen. They're not going to solve it. And it's going to take a few years for them to solve it, I will say. But there's no DNA. There's no murder weapon. It looks like, honestly, they kind of thinking, was this a professional hit? There's no evidence to go on. The door lock wasn't even broken in. There's nothing.
Yeah.
The only thing that makes them know that the killer walked out the front door the same way he came in, there was two blood droplets on the going out of the front door, right on that little separation. Mm-hmm. Do you want to take a guess why there were two single blood droplets right there on that separation? How did they get there? They weren't splashed over anywhere. The door was shut when this happened.
It was on like the killer?
No, not on the killer. On the murder weapon. Whatever it was, a tire iron or so. Like if it was a tire iron, mm-hmm. which it was, he carried it by his side and those two little droplets, drip, drip. That was the only thing they had to go on. No one saw anything. There was no cameras anywhere. There was no tire impressions.
Yeah.
There's nothing to go on. About an hour later, the detectives are already getting like, oh my God, this is going to break us. We're not going to be able to solve this. Everyone in the neighborhood's coming up saying, no, she had no enemies. No enemies. Her husband and her are the happiest couple we know. There's no problems in the relationship. An hour later, Rebecca shows up. Rebecca is the daughter. The Neulander's daughter.
Okay.
She shows up and she already kind of knows what's happening. You know, she got the call and she rushes in. Obviously, she can't go inside. They hold her down. Matthew is still crying and he's the one that when Rebecca collapses out of shock, he catches her and they both fall on the ground and they're hugging and they're crying. Why, Mommy? What happened? Oh my God. It takes her another hour just to calm down when the two detectives come up to her and they introduce themselves. I'm so sorry for your loss. We will catch this guy. We will find out who did this and bring them to justice. And
Shouldn't promise that.
She looks up at these detectives and she says, was it the bathroom man? The bathroom man? What do you mean?
Who's the bathroom man?
Who is the bathroom? What were you talking about? Do you know something? The bathroom man? Well, once she calmed down, she explained that she calls her mother every day around the same time, around 6, and this happened. We would say at 6:20 was the cause of death, so 3 hours before. Mm-hmm. She was on the phone with her mother like always. Mom was at the table or doing her routine. All of a sudden, she hears the doorbell and a knock on the door, and Mom says, "Oh, honey, I got to call you back. The bathroom man's here." And then she hangs up, and then next thing you know, Mom's dead. Well, who's the bathroom man? Well, since they talked every day, she had heard this story that the bathroom man was someone delivering a package 2 weeks before, and this guy is kind of bumbly. He's a bumbly man, right? Kind of just, ugh. You know, he's the type of guy that...
Like bumbling?
Bumbling. God damn it. He's a bumbling type of guy. A little overweight, kind of short. He tries to impress a lot of people, you know, but you can kind of... He's more of annoyance than anything. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he's delivering this package from the church, you know, because they get a lot of packages that have to come through and stuff like that. So he's delivering this package. And then he says, do you mind if I come and use the bathroom? You know, because I really can't hold it. So he comes in and she was kind of annoyed by that, but she's a nice person. But she told her daughter, oh, this is just the bathroom man. You remember that guy I told you about that wanted to use the bathroom?
So he was delivering something that day to her, not necessarily using the bathroom. They just referred to this man as the bathroom man.
Yeah. Her daughter and her were joking that, oh, it's the bathroom man.
Got it.
So she looked out the window when she heard the doorbell ring, and she's on the phone with her daughter. She sees the bathroom man, and hold on, baby, let me just call you right back. The bathroom man's here. Rebecca was really worried about this because you remember
her mom never called her back.
Not the mom never called her back because she is a busy woman, but she's also counting $15,000 in cash every day.
Rebecca described the stranger's request to use the bathroom, the empty envelope, and the fact that her mother had mentioned Fred telling her to expect a package to be delivered in the near future.
Well, that's weird. Her husband, Rebecca, the daughter Rebecca, as you just read, told the police that her mom had mentioned to her when they were talking about the bathroom man that Fred had given the bathroom man a package a few weeks ago, and that's where he was known as the bathroom man, and to expect a package to be delivered in the near future. That was his word. So is this the same bathroom man that her husband had gotten him to run over a package? You know, is it? I don't know. This man was large, not really tall, but just kind of wide, bumbling, a little overweight, with a definite smell of daytime drinking. He was an alcoholic. You can tell. He's got that aroma that comes out in your skin, your pores, especially, when you're, walking around carrying packages and stuff, you sweat a little bit. Have you ever been around people like that? So in the military, it's like that, like literally a third of the platoons like that. You can smell it through their pores. But this guy's harmless enough, so, whatever.
Check the bathroom, see if he's still in there.
Can you read the next?
Where did he get those clothes? The toilet store? Rebecca was distraught, but she remembered clearly her conversation with the mother at about 8 p.m. that evening. She described the arrival of the bathroom man during the call and how she could hear her mother invite him inside. She also noted the passing reference her mother made to someone who seemed to be accompanying the bathroom man.
Accompanying 2 killers?
So this was around the same time of death, we think?
Yeah.
Okay.
So her death, her time of death was at 6:20. At 9:22 is when husband calls police. They tracked her death as happening 3 hours earlier.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So 2 killers? Someone's accompanying the bathroom man? All right. Obviously, I'm going to stop right here. Let me just kind of tease the next episode.
Okay.
All right. Which we'll do this week, obviously.
Okay,
these are episodes I can't not do the next episode. It's not
It's okay. Sable can just wait another 2 years for the rest of H.H. Holmes.
No, this will be the next episode. I'm going to finish the H.H. Holmes ones.
You better. She is going to cry.
On part 2, we're going to look into the bathroom man's true identity and find the links between Carol Neulander's brutal murder and its links being a possible hit from the CIA and Mossad. Do you know what Mossad is? It is the National Intelligence for the Agency of Israel. It's still a thing, Mossad. That's it's like the NSA of Israel, right? So this story goes a lot deeper. The CIA, the Mossad, this is a professional hit from what it's looking like. Detectives don't want to admit it so far, but they have nothing besides this bathroom man thing, and it looks like a professional hit. And a hit like this matches similar ones done, speculated from Mossad and the CIA on, quote, enemies of Israel. So is Carol an enemy of Israel? Is she a spy? Like, what's going on here?
That's crazy.
We'll also talk about Elaine Sonici, one of the most, at the time, popular morning drive radio host. Her face covered everywhere on the East Coast.
Convention. When is the convention? September.
Poster boards, buses. You see her face. You'll recognize her as soon as you see her. One of the most popular daytime morning drive hosts when people used to listen to radio commuting. She's involved somehow. How does she get involved? And finally, we'll talk about who the bathroom man is. So we'll do that on the part 2. I don't know. What do you think?
I can't wait. I can't wait to do it.
Yeah.
Like maybe tomorrow?
I mean, if you want me to do it tomorrow, I can. At this point, I got 2 episodes I haven't even released because I lost one. But I basically got to re-edit it, and then I got to edit this one. But I could do it tomorrow.
I mean, don't force it. I do want to hear how it ends.
Yeah. So, good night.
Hasta. Kind of run this shit.